the opening scene, we see a young woman named Jessica Murdoch, who is on the run. She cautiously makes her way towards her home, trying to avoid being seen. With a bloody mark on her face, it looks like she's been in a fight. When Jessica gets home, she cleans her face and looks at her wedding ring. Suddenly, she sees some armed intruders breaking in. Desperate to avoid capture, she quickly escapes through a window. After walking through the streets for a while, Jessica finds a parked wagon. She hides in it and escapes the city. The next morning, Jessica wakes up as the wagon stops near a grocery store. When the driver steps away, she gets out, steals some food and a map, and heads into the woods after. Walking all day, she finds a ranch and decides to stay there for the night. Early the next morning, Jessica tries to steal more food for her journey, but the elderly ranch owner, Frank Lerner, catches her. Instead of scolding her, he invites her inside for breakfast. Frank seems to feel sorry for her troubled state. When Jessica is served food, she eats it quickly, as if she hasn't eaten in days. While she eats, Frank's wife Jeannie asks how she ended up there. Jessica begins to explain. Jessica, still apprehensive, lies and says she is traveling north. Frank believes her and offers to drive her to her destination. Then cut to Elsa Gray, a skilled fixer and tracker, who is assigned by her boss Raymond Reed to locate and capture Jessica. Elsa has been a manhunter for a long time. Because of her job, she hasn't been able to maintain any relationships or take vacations, being too absorbed in her work. However, Elsa has now been diagnosed with ALS. Despite her efforts to hide the symptoms from her colleagues, they are becoming obvious. Her limbs occasionally stop functioning, complicating her daily life and work. Elsa often seeks advice from an online support group and other patients with similar conditions. Yet, a sense of emptiness has started to affect her. For someone active in the field, the gradual decline of her physical and mental abilities feels worse than death. During one of her sessions, the counselor advises Elsa to talk to her family, but she says that no one is in touch with her. Hearing the sadness in her voice, a fellow patient asks if she is thinking of doing something drastic, and she confirms the patient tries to comfort her, saying that while misery is powerful, so is acceptance. Meanwhile, Frank drives Jessica north in his truck. After a whole day of driving, the road ends, so Jessica decides to walk toward the Canadian border. Before she leaves, Frank gives her a bag full of food and clothes, also offering his help if she ever needs it. Jessica is extremely grateful and thanks him sincerely before continuing her journey. After walking for several hours, she stops in the woods to spend the night. Next morning, Jessica continues walking and eventually arrives at a small border town. She enters a local bar and asks the owner, Molly Presser, about job opportunities. Molly initially says there are no vacancies, but when Jessica insists, she offers her a cleaning job at the bar. Later that evening, while Jessica is washing dishes, Molly notices the ring on her finger and asks if she is married. Jessica responds that her boyfriend gave it to her. As their conversation unfolds, Molly misunderstands Jessica's wish to start a new life, thinking Jessica is trying to escape from an abusive boyfriend. Molly, having been a victim of an abusive relationship herself, relates to this. After work, the two new friends leave the bar together. While walking, Molly asks where Jessica will be staying. Jessica replies that she'll find a motel. Hearing this, Molly kindly invites Jessica to stay at her place. Elsa is on the phone with her colleague Vince as they try to find a lead on Jessica. Elsa and Vince have worked together for many years, with Vince spending more time with Elsa than with his wife. Despite their efforts, they can't locate Jessica. Elsa receives a call from Raymond, who pressures her to speed up, insisting they can't let Jessica cross the border. Scene flashes back to the past, showing Jessica and her boyfriend Ian camping in the forest. While enjoying a bonfire, a dog appears. Despite Ian's warnings, Jessica pets and cuddles with the dog while sleeping. The next morning, they find red spots on Ian's body and Jessica's foot. It's revealed that the dog was carrying a strain of the Ebola virus, which infected them. This is why the authorities are urgently trying to capture Jessica to prevent an outbreak. The flashback continues. Ian's condition rapidly worsens, with red spots turning into bloody patches. Alarmed, Jessica calls for an ambulance, but they are taken to a remote research facility instead of a hospital. There, Jessica is confined to a cell, while Ian is taken to a lab for experimentation. Desperate to escape, Jessica devised a plan. She broke the cell's light bulb and waited for a guard. As soon as he entered, she attacked him with a sharp glass shard and rushed to find Ian. She soon discovered him in a near-zombified state. Before she could reach him, the emergency alarm went off, forcing Jessica to escape alone, leaving her boyfriend behind. In the present, Elsa receives a call from a coworker, informing her about the ranch where Jessica had stayed. She drives there to look for clues. Upon arriving, Elsa dons a hazmat suit and enters the premises. She finds the place in disarray, with blood in the sink. Soon after, she notices Jeannie and quickly exits the house. Elsa follows Jeannie to a shed where she is ambushed by Frank and Jeannie, who have turned into zombie-like beings. They charge at Elsa, but she defends herself with a firearm. After this encounter, Elsa calls Raymond and demands to know what's going on. Raymond reveals the involvement of Amendola, a tech conglomerate experimenting on a virus in collaboration with the US government. The dog that infected Ian and Jessica was a test subject that escaped from the facility. After that, the virus continued to spread and mutate in inexplicable ways. Raymond reveals that Jessica is an asymptomatic carrier of the virus. This means she doesn't show any signs of illness but is unknowingly spreading the virus to everyone she contacts. Jessica, unaware of the danger, believes the authorities suspect her of murder, which is why she's heading toward the border to escape US jurisdiction. The seriousness of the case, Elsa confesses about her ALS diagnosis, stating she is no longer fit for the job. To her surprise, Raymond is aware of her illness and admits he chose her deliberately, believing someone with a terminal disease has nothing more to lose. He instructs her to capture Jessica, dead or alive, to prevent a potential outbreak. Later, Elsa receives a video message from a colleague showing Jessica's location, prompting her to head toward the border town immediately. In the meantime, Jessica wakes up in the morning and decides to go for a walk. Before leaving, she knocks on Molly's room door to ask if she wants to join, but gets no response and assumes Molly is still asleep. Unbeknownst to her, Jessica has unintentionally transferred the virus to Molly, who is now suffering inside the room. As Jessica wanders around the street, she is unexpectedly spotted by Elsa. Realizing the imminent threat, Jessica immediately runs away. Elsa tries to chase Jessica, but her ailment prevents her from doing so. Jessica returns to Molly's place and starts packing her belongings to leave. Amidst this, she hears an unusual noise from Molly's room and goes upstairs to check. She is startled by the horrific sight of a blood-covered zombified Molly. The zombie suddenly charges towards Jessica. In a desperate attempt to save herself, Jessica grabs a pan and reluctantly beats her friend to death. Afterwards, she sits beside Molly's body and cries. She realizes something is seriously wrong as the people around her are dying. Additionally, she discovers her hair has started to fall out. Sometime later, Elsa tracks Jessica down and holds her at gunpoint. She reveals the entire predicament, explaining how Jessica has been spreading the deadly virus. By now, Jessica is showing signs of viral infection, but unlike other victims, she retains her mental abilities. Elsa interprets this as a hopeful sign and tries to persuade Jessica to turn herself in. However, Jessica refuses and tries to flee. Despite Elsa's repeated warnings, Jessica pleads for her life and continues to run. Left with no other choice, Elsa shoots her down. In her final moments, Jessica expresses that she just wanted to see the world and didn't want things to end this way. Elsa empathizes deeply and shows kindness to the dying Jessica by holding her hands. However, she forgets that she has removed the face cover of her hazmat suit. After Jessica's death, all crucial information, surveillance footage, and evidence are wiped off, as if they had never existed. In the scene, Elsa is visited by her ALS counselor, who explains ways to maintain a positive outlook despite her condition. While offering this consolation, the counselor holds her hand and begins coughing uncontrollably. Elsa, shaken out of her distraction, realizes she is another asymptomatic carrier of the virus. That's the end of the film. Don't forget to subscribe Lucky Toad for more recaps.